Recently, there have been two new versions of the Honda NSX revealed. One reinterpretation from Italdesign, redesigning the second gen car, and another from Pininfarina, who have tried to redesign the original in combination with Jazz Motorsport. So, in this video, we'll have a look at both versions, compare the two, compare them to the original as well, and we'll see which one we like better. Let's first have a look at the second gen reinterpretation that was just recently revealed by Italdesign. So, according to Top Gear, it's officially recognized by Honda. It's more of a philosophical homage to the original car in terms of performance, reliability, and usability, but there's no real changes to powertrain or anything like that. It's not a resto mod, they're calling it more of a nostalgic exercise. So we've got some real life photos of the car being revealed in person, and they've done a great job in trying to make that front end a little bit more simplified and modern. You've got narrower, thinner headlamps here with this body panel that covers up the original headlamp. A lot has been done to make sure that lower section is a lot more simplified and nicer to look at compared to the original, which had a lot going on. In fairness, Honda at that time probably was struggling with the design language a little bit. It was a little bit muddled with Acura as well. So I think they've done a good job in making this look aggressive, but still nice and clean. And then that rear end is beautiful. I love this rear end. You've got these tail lamps here, which look a lot more like the original NSX, but they've still brought it up into modern times. And if you look at the square on view, you can see these little vents on the bonnet here, and then you've also got a scoop on the roof. Having a closer look at the studio shots, these wheels look nice, but they look a little bit aftermarket. Probably something you would chuck on a Nissan Silvia, for example. It still has a Honda logo in the center, of course, but doesn't really look like a traditional Honda design as much. That side profile still has that C shape retained from the original. There's probably not a lot they could change from the original car, given they've got working with the same hard points and chassis. But they've done a good job in introducing this front splitter, these side skirts as well, give it a little bit more of a sportier appearance. And they've blacked out that roof too, which makes it look a little bit more modern. I think the front end looks okay, side profile decent as well, but it's that rear end for me that really looks fantastic, especially with this floating light section, which looks more like that original NSX, but just brought into modern times. The lower section of the rear end is probably one of the more interesting parts, especially these ends of the diffuser section. They're almost floating in midair and not really attached to the main body as such. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what this does for the area of the car. Let's compare it to the original to see how it matches up as well. I think you can definitely see it's night and day difference. They've really cleaned up that front, that beak is gone, just the bare minimum components to still make it look like aggressive NSX sports car without the additional complexity of different vents and things going in different directions. So really good job there. The rear end of the original second gen car was still a nice looking car to me. They didn't need to change it that much, but they have felt the need to make it closer to the original, which I do appreciate. It does look a little bit more of a wedgier shape compared to the more modern shape you've got here of the original second gen car. This looks a little bit more 90s, but I do think it works overall. However, if you look at these original sketches, I think they've missed a trick here. It definitely looks like in the sketches, the car is a lot more planted. They've got these more aggressive front splitters, side skirts. These wheels, I think, look a lot more suited to the car than the wheels they ended up going with. Just a lot more flatter in profile. I think if this was brought into real life, I would rate this car. So I'll probably give this redesign maybe a 7 out of 10. Sketches, probably 9.5 out of 10. So something's definitely missing, but overall, good attempt. So now let's look at the first gen redesign by Pininfarina and Jazz Motorsport. So according to Car Expert, it's called the Tensei, and Tensei means reincarnation in Japanese. So makes sense with this sort of car. They're bringing back the original elements just in a new fashion. What's interesting and different about this car compared to the second gen reinterpretation is that it's going to have a new powertrain as well. So, of course, the first gen NSX is a lot older vehicle. That powertrain is very outdated. It's probably going to be a much needed update to bring this up to speed with 2026. So, more power, more torque. Still going to be a naturally aspirated V6, which is great to see. And will still be a manual 6-speed transmission, which the purists will love as well. This car, you can see, looks very much like the original, just modernized. That same wedgy, squared off shape, especially in the front end. You've got those pop up headlamps, that squared off lower bumper. Instead of fog lamps, you basically got daytime running lamps that are all LEDs. The side profile, very, very clean, flowing, still very much in tune with the 90s, but still showing a little bit more of a modern style as well. We've got that air intake going in for cooling purposes. The one thing I don't like about the side profile is probably the wheels themselves. I think the wheels probably look a bit out of place and almost look like Ferrari F50 wheels, which don't really suit this car. I think if they tried to bring back the elements of the original wheels a little bit more, or just another multi-spoke design, I think it would have looked great. But here it doesn't quite work. But my favorite view of the car is for sure the rear end. I just love how they preserve the original shape of the first gen NSX, similar to what they've done in the second gen car. You can tell there's a reason they brought that into the second gen car because it's just iconic. But here, I think the treatment of the LEDs is a lot more interesting. So you've got these 1, 2, 3, 4 lines here that get progressively longer as you go down, and you've got that full length bar, and it gets shorter as it goes in between. A lot more dynamic and interesting. I think they've done an awesome job here in creating that rear end and still making it faithful to the original. The lower section here is a little bit different. You've got new exhaust pipes that are a little bit different in shape compared to the original, which was circular. But overall, I think it looks amazing. If we look at the original car, you can see just how close it is. I would have liked more faithfulness to the wheels of the original, but otherwise, this is very much an NSX through and through. Just brought up to speed with 2026 with the new LED treatment, some of the cleaner lines, especially on the side profile here. You don't have those very much 90s lines extending through from the air intake here. I think this is a pretty much a flawless design apart from the wheels. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, but this is just going to be a terrific car to see in real life. But unfortunately, it's going to be made in very limited numbers. Hopefully, we'll see some real life driving reviews. I'm interested to see how that powertrain fares, that new modernized powertrain. So those are the two modern reinterpretations of the Honda NSX. Let me know which one you prefer. Have they stayed true to the original cars? Have they updated them in a fashion that you like? Do you think they've ruined the cars? Let me know in the comments below. And feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.